voice of our land. The girls them, 'cause I can't stand
Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to everyone listening to me from Tamale, Cape Coast, the Volta, and Accra. Warm welcome. This is another exciting episode of Room. Can we all just agree that Monday should be changed to Room Day? Because show me any other exciting show on radio right now. It is the best auto show you can get. If you've seen today's poster, if you haven't, please go on our Facebook page right now. We're talking about the reason the regular Ghanaian, middle class Ghanaian, middle income Ghanaian will choose out of warranty, old used vehicle instead of buying from the assembled cars in Ghana. I don't want to use the word local because I think the word local has played a huge part in our choice of vehicles. Once you name anything local, it almost comes as if it is inferior. So I'm not going to use the word local, but these are newly assembled vehicles in Ghana. So welcome. Later in the show, we're going to talk about your oil, grade of oil, and then we'll talk about your warning lights. These lights are not disco lights on your cars, my dear sister. So stay tuned, keep listening to the show. We'll be right back. So before we delve into this discussion that everybody is talking about, let me take you through memory lane. So in the 1960s, Kwame Nkrumah led a state campaign or initiative to say, hey, you know what? We want to industrialize Ghana. We want to do everything made in Ghana. So there were lots of companies that were tendered in the 1960s. We had a company called the United Africa Company coming in to want to assemble cars. They started with the Bedford truck. You remember Bedford truck? The bone shaker. Yes, that was made in Ghana. It later became Mummy truck because our Makola women were the ones that were patronizing it. So these trucks, will have their wagon at the back. And this is proudly made in Ghana. And guess what? The slogan was, a truck you can be proud of. Moving forward, another company from Germany teamed up with the Ghana government to set up the new plant station in Kumasi, where they were also assembling vehicles. This was somewhere in the 1970s. So we had, yes, if you can watch on your screen, this is when the Bone Shaker, aka Bedford truck, just about starting in Ghana. This was in the 60s by UAC. And then we had another company called the African Assembling Company. I think they were enraged back in the day. They were also doing very well with assembling vehicles. But the question really is, so what happened? Why did we stop? Why was there almost as if we don't want to bring in these assembly and fix the cars here ourselves? I mean, I'll say this. It kind of helped our local artisans to do well because there was a lot of training that was going on to help the local artisans to get better. It was a good thing. So at what point did it stop? When did Ghanaians lose our pride, the sense of nationality? Before I go on to introduce the guests, I want to commend Asase Radio for still holding on to that, because guess what? We went on to buy 3 of the cars from Kantanka. Yes, and we are so proud of that. We bought the Mensa. Gabby went on to buy the Mensa. And thank you so much, Gabby, for shining the torch for us. So if you're listening to me, please get on this bandwagon. Buy a made in Ghana vehicle, a newly assembled in Ghana vehicle. We have to pitch. We need to be intentional about it. Yes, the government is doing well to promote it, but as buyers, we need to be intentional about it. Now, the question really is it the price, or is it quality, Or is it a lack of spare parts? What would make the regular Ghanaian just go and get an out-of-warranty car? Now, you see all these cars already smoking. The price is equally high, and you'll be surprised how much you got it for. Now, let me quickly introduce my guests. Oh, no, wait. Let me get them to introduce themselves. So, on the first Bang one.
I would like to greet all your listeners. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Franca.
Nice. So Franca works, or she's a retailer at Abosokai. Can you believe that? She has been a retailer at Abosokai for so many years, and she is a go-to person for me if I need anything for my customers. So yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for coming. And then MFA?
Yes, my name is MFA. I am a buyer. I'm actually looking to buy a car. So I am honored to be here. Hopefully I can get some insights. Maybe I can get inspired. Maybe our guest over here will probably convince me to buy one of their cars.
Fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. And what you only get this on Room, where we link the buyers and the sellers.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then Bank 3, who do we have?
Yes, let me first of all greet our cherished listeners. My name is Francis Kujoji. I'm the general manager of Kantanka Automobile.
Whoa, Kantanka in the house. It has been so difficult getting Kantanka to talk, but thankfully, Francis and his team agreed to talk to us. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And then Bank 4, who do we have?
Well, thank you for inviting me. My name is Kenneth Abose. I'm the founder of Brother Man Automotive Group.
Nice. So Brother Man, they bring in cars. So yes, that is why I call them Avengers. We have a very good collection of people to speak to the issues. So in no particular order, I'm going to throw it to you. Issue about pricing, issue about quality. Who wants to start this conversation?
I think since I'm a buyer, let me state my case first.
Go ahead.
So I am looking for a car. Right now, Uber prices are out of the roof, and Troskis are not reliable. Taxis too, I might as well stick to my Uber. So right now, Uber is too much. It's getting too expensive, and I'm looking to buy a car. I'm looking for a car that is cost effective. I'm looking for a car that is fuel efficient, because I don't want to be spending so much. And here is my salary that I'm going to be spending so much on fuel. And I'm looking for a car that's reliable. So, I mean, I have the car salesman here, and I have the GM from Kantanka here. So I am hoping to find something. And also, if I'm to have, I mean, it's a car, it will break down eventually, right? So we have our lady here too. And then I guess, hopefully, I'm praying I can make an informed decision today before I leave here.
So this is your chance to sell your trade. So
Yes, sir.
who goes first? How ladies first, Abby?
All right. So I think that it would be as a result of the prices. Do
Right.
you understand? Because looking at the locally made cars, looking at the price, I feel like it's too outrageous, and the availability of parts as well. When you come to Abosokai, I don't know of any shop that sells Kantanka auto parts. Do you
Right,
understand?
right.
More of the parts are imported vehicles or the home used vehicles. That is what we sell.
Right.
So I would like to ask the general manager over here if there's any shop in Abosokai that sells Kantanka parts, or if you are looking for Kantanka parts, where can we find it?
Right. So Francis, over to you. Looks like the guns are already blazing.
I think today all of the questions are going to be directed.
Well, before you go on, listeners, you can share your questions and thoughts as well on our Facebook. I'll be reading them. So please go ahead and let us know what you think. So Francis.
Good. We have come of age. This year we'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary.
Woo, congratulations.
And the roadmap is so rough. Now that we are, celebrating our 10th anniversary, there is going to be, we've learned from our mistakes, and we have improved on our, strengths. So this year, in November, we'll be rolling out the new Kantanka.
No, but before you roll out a new Kantanka, how are the parts available for us to
Kantanka
get?
parts are available
Only in your shops?
only in our shops. Fortunately, we've got a location at Abosokai.
Right.
And then last
This is
week or-
Aboso Queen, so she doesn't know, and there's something wrong.
last week or so we were in Kumasi Swami. So we have to, play that kind of double game this year. Opening one shop at Abosokai and one at Swami.
So is it currently running?
It's going to be unveiled this November
Right. Okay.
when we celebrate our 10th anniversary.
Okay. And they are making some steps, and I'm sure they've heard us. A lot of people are asking for spare parts, and they are making room for that. Well, thank you very much. But you mentioned pricing. Do you have any kind particular to compare with? Because what you said was the cars are expensive. That's
Exactly.
why they would buy.
Exactly. As a young person coming up, assuming in my bank account I have like 70 Ghana cedis, 70,000 Ghana
Right.
cedis. Sorry, I believe I can get myself a Toyota Vitz.
Can you?
Can you?
It's possible. Very possible.
That'd be like a 2005 model.
No, like a 2012 model.
2012.
Yes, 70,000 Ghana cedis or 80,000 Ghana cedis. I can
Eh.
get myself
Right.
a Toyota Vitz. But I don't think with 70,000 Ghana cedis or 80,000 Ghana cedis, I can get myself Kantanka or Mama or Nantefo or something.
Even with the Vitz, the brand new, you won't get it.
No, not like brand new, like the imported ones, the home used ones. There,
Right.
exactly.
The last time I checked for a Vitz that was okay to be used, it wasn't 70,000.
How much was it?
They were mentioning one something. Even that pool, it was overheating.
Easy.
So perhaps it's gone through a lot of ownership,
Yes.
maybe. But I've heard 80,000 before. The
Really?
ones they use for the ride hailing.
Okay.
So those ones are like working horses.
Mm-hmm.
They want to pass it on quickly. They will just fix what you can see, what we call paintimamento. So they just fix what you can see and hide the very important things that you wouldn't see. So I've heard the 80,000, but the question is, are you really buying at 80,000 or 80 plus X?
Right.
That really is the question.
So I want to pose this question. Can I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
To Mr. Kenneth over here as the
Right.
salesman. So for 80,000 Ghana cedis, I walk into your shop. Can I get a car that will sustain me? I don't want to be visiting here at Obosokan, nor do I want to be in somebody's mechanic shop. Am I able to do that? Because we have to be practical here.
So, unfortunately, 80,000 won't be able to get you something decent. You probably get something, let's say a Ghana used. Yes, 80,000. Currently, the Vitz is selling for 110, 120,000 minimum. You understand? So if you want something nice, I mean, you might want to up your budget a bit. You understand? So 80,000. I'll highly recommend you look at maybe a fairly used car in Ghana.
Hey, Mr. GM, you're also laughing. So there's no car around.
You see,
80,000.
my good friend here was talking about a 2013 Vitz,
Yes.
which is about 12 years old.
Right.
And if you look at if you go deep into vehicles, the parts of the vehicles are to be examined in a periodic interval. So when a car runs for, I think about 10,000 kilometers, there are parts that has to be changed. 20,000, 30,000, 40,000.
Yes.
And if you are not very careful and those parts are not changed, you buy the car which was 2013 made in 2025. In fact, you are throwing your money away.
I'm sorry not to catch you, but manufacturer also gives 5 years. Most manufacturers, maybe the Japanese would say 7, but most say 5 years.
Within that 5 years, there are parts that has to be changed automatically.
Yes.
If you
The
don't,
consumable.
you are risking your life. And it's not going to be safe for you to drive.
At least I'm saving my pockets. How about
Right.
that?
Against your life.
But
And
how
that is
do
very
I know the cars that you make are safe for me anyway? The cars that are newly made, how do I know they are safe? Do you do any testing? Do you do any public? Do you call people to come and say, you know what, come and test our vehicles on the Ibri off-road or Shire Hills off-road? Do you do anything like that?
You know, we have a quality management system that we go through when assembling.
Right.
And even the parts, before the parts are assembled, they are homologated, certified to be genuine parts that has to be assembled.
Right.
Once you have a homologated and then certified parts, you are good to go. The parts have, the duration that they have to, a timeline that you have to change them. If you have a brake, if you are driving a car, and then let's say the brake pads, for instance, wear out, you have to change them. At a certain interval, you have to examine them and then see whether they have worn out or not. And you have to change them. The examination, that is the periodic maintenance of the car is the key. And that is what we try to educate users of our cars on.
So, Francis, brake pads, unfortunately, is not part of the things that come under safety for a manufacturer. Let's talk about airbags, those ones. Let's talk about crash points. These are the things that are safety for a manufacturer. So for my brake pads is me, the driver, how I drive the car, how I step on it, and I'm sure Bodaman will tell us this too. So for a manufacturer, it is more of the safety, that is, i.e., the seat belts, the airbag, the number, if you have the curtain airbag or just one or two just in the front, or the crash points. Like a lot of cars right now are big on crash points.
Those parts that you're talking about, airbags, safety seat belts, etc., are parts that can be on the car over a very long period of time.
But do you check that?
We check that
Right.
at the point of assembly.
Okay.
And periodically, when it comes, you see something like airbag. How do you check the airbag? The efficiency of the airbag.
You crash the car to check. You'd have to crash the car to check. I mean, we see those videos every time. I mean, brother man, correct me if I'm wrong. The cars that you bring in, I'm sure there are few particular brands that people ask for, because over the years they have seen them evolve and go through all of these things I've just mentioned, so they kind of trust them. Can you tell us a bit of that? What do people really go for?
So cars like the Corolla, cars like the Land Cruiser, the Prado, the Land Cruiser V8 itself, cars like the Hilux, they've been tried and tested. So if anyone is in the market to buy a car, they're more concerned about reliability. So a layman will obviously go for a Toyota. You understand? I mean, we've seen videos of crash tests. We've seen videos of it being pushed to the core, and it stands the test. You understand? So, I mean, anyone who is into the market will be advised to get a Toyota. Will be advised to get a car that, I mean, it's going to be easy to work on or work with.
It's interesting you mentioned Toyota. Recently, I chanced on a post by Kojokel on Facebook where he was comparing it was a 2018 Corolla XE. I could be wrong. Please forgive me. If you could please put it up for the people on Facebook to see. So to buy the vehicle and ship to Ghana is $10,000. Okay, so I'll come back and ask you how much a 2018 would cost in your garage. And then if you also have a similar one, I'm sure the Mensa might be similar. So $10,000 to buy this vehicle and ship. This vehicle has about 8,000, almost 9,000 miles on it. It looks very, very clean. I suspect that is either a flat vehicle or hill. Something. There must be something about it. So this is $10,000 to buy and ship. Now, when you bring it to Ghana and you have to clear it, it's about $80,000. Sorry, 80,000 cedis. Please forgive me. 80,000 cedis, they say. Now, if you have to compute that, thankfully the dollar has is coming down drastically, but let's peg it at 16 cities. If you have to compute that, would easily be knocking on the door of 300,000 cities. If you had to compute that, I mean, am I right or am I wrong?
Yes, it's almost 300,000. Yeah.
So 240.
240, 270.
Give or take.
Yes.
So let's assume everything is okay with the car. You don't need to go and see Abna to change anything at all. Let's just assume. So for the first 6 months or so, you've only spent 240,000 cities. Right. Now, can I get the same car in your garage for 240,000 cities?
Yes, obviously. So currently, I mean, for a used Toyota like that with such a mileage,
Yes.
looking at 260, 270, sometimes 280, depending on a car like this. I realized it had the stock number,
Right.
which means it's an accident car. which
There you
was-
go.
Yes, so
Okay.
it doesn't look like the window needs. So I suspect, it's like I saying, it might be
Flooded.
a flat car. Yes.
Right. So yeah, so it looks like, so you'd get it, but the real question is, why would you want to buy a 2018 model vehicle in 2025 when clearly, if it wasn't, it's maybe because in Ghana Abosokai is in existence.
Yeah.
In some parts of the world, you'd have to go to a junkyard
Yes.
and look for the parts.
Yes.
But I mean, now we still have car parts and also kind that date as far back as the 30s.
True.
So maybe that is what is still holding or keeping the used car market going. What do you think, Abna?
I think I agree with you. As I said earlier on, the availability of parts are not common. And he rightly said that there are no shops currently running at Abusokai or anywhere. So I think that every layman would want to, get a car that is easily accessible with the parts.
Right. So with 240, it's very difficult to just take 240,000 cedis from your account
Very.
and go and buy a car. If we had that finance option,
Yes.
so MFA, this is to you. If you had a finance option where you can just pay 20% of this 240,000 from the grey markets.
Yes.
From the grey markets. I'm saying grey markets, i.e., it is not a showroom. It's grey markets. So if you could afford 20%, would you do that?
Yes. So 20%
And spread the rest over.
will be how much? 20% will be like what?
10% is
20.
maybe 48,000.
48,000. Yeah, I think that's. Saving towards the car.
And then spread the rest over 2 years.
2 years. Yes, I would like that. As long as the interest is not something.
So unfortunately,
Crazy.
the interest rates in Ghana here is killing people. There's a company called AutoCheck.
Right.
I heard they finance car for people, but most of the people who go there tend to run back to the garage. So,
Why?
Yeah, they said the interest rate is killing them.
Would you know the interest rate?
I'm not.
Okay.
I can't
Perhaps
say.
like 30%. I mean,
It's
listen, I
around
don't
the
blame
same.
AutoCheck. It's high risk.
It's a high risk.
What shows MFA will not run away with the
Look
car?
at me.
It is high risk, so I don't blame them. Francis, do you have something to
I
say?
think we have now policy which allow us to sell these cars on credit.
So the Mensa, let's use the Mensa.
So the Mensa now is at 280,000. The Mensa K71 type is 200. Sorry, the K71
Can we
rather.
have a picture of the Mensa showing the one with? So Mensa is like the sedan, Elantra,
type.
that type. So it's a good rival for what we are talking about. So you
Mensa
do.
is now selling for 380,000.
Why
And then
aren't
the
you marketing
K71
it?
is 280,000.
Why are you not telling the world about this?
You see, once we come out and make a little noise, there is a pandemonium.
Yes, sir.
What happens to us?
Open the floodgates.
We open the floodgate, and what happens is that the demand exceeds the supply in tenfolds.
But I think
As we
that's
speak
good
now,
for you guys.
that's good. That's
Yes.
good for us. But there is one thing that is left out. You know, we don't have the Ghana Automotive Development Policy,
Right.
where we've been granted, exemptions on some levies and duties.
Right.
So it has made the prices of the vehicles very affordable. Okay, now there is an outstanding clause in the policy, which is the auto financing scheme, which has not been implemented. And when that financing scheme is implemented, what's going to happen is that we, the assemblers, can be paid out upfront. Then the buyers will come and then buy the cars on credit. Like we are suggesting, if you pay 20% down payment, we spread the rest over a period of time. That burden is not going to be to rest on the assembler, because we have our cash upfront to continue production. Now, the policy, that clause in the policy which has not been implemented, is like putting a burden on us. So if we have, for instance, 100 units of K71 here, which is about $2.8 million, and then we use our money to get the parts and assemble and sell on credit, how long is it going to take us for us to be in business? How long is it going to take us for us to recoup that money and then reinvest into production?
So you mean you don't want to partner with any finance company?
Like you are saying, like my brother is saying, the interest. We tried once. And what happened was that the cost of the vehicle to the buyer has been doubled, while the financial institution is taking interest from we, the assemblers, and then another interest from the buyers.
It sounds illegal.
It is not. They came out with the arithmetic, and then you see that they are claiming they are risking.
Well,
So therefore, they have to sort of take a commission from us, and then interest from the buyer.
so for you directly, you don't do financing. You do a third party financing. That's what you're saying?
No, what we do now is we sell on credit.
Please explain.
Selling on credit means we have payment terms, and then in that payment plan, if the car is selling for 280,000 and you make a 40% down payment, we spread the rest over a period of time between 6 months to 12 months.
On behalf of Ghanaians, can we ask for
Without
more time?
without interest.
Right, 6 to 12 months.
Is it
Without
short?
interest.
Oh, it's without
Oh,
interest.
Without interest.
Oh.
So that is what we are doing for our nation. That is what we are doing for Ghanaians.
But does the person have to be a government worker? That's another thing. There's always that clause.
It doesn't really matter. Once you have deposited, post-dated checks, or you have a standing order with the bank, you can go ahead and do it.
So I can get a K7 for
K71 for 280,000 selling currently, but you'll be the number 16th person, and you get your car after 3 months.
I wouldn't mind, because that's how long it would take to ship a car from
approximately.
wherever anyway, and
Yes.
I'll get all the spec on it. Can you tell us more about this I think it's
not bad at
It's not bad
all.
at all. What would make MFA choose this over the 2018 Corolla?
I think if MFA visits our showroom, she will very much fall in love with the K71.
How about you give me the car and let me drive it first?
No problem.
Is this showroom? Is this showroom
You
only in
guys are
Accra?
hearing this, so
I agree with you.
Is this showroom only in Accra?
Yes,
Because we have
yes.
listeners from far and wide. I'm sure they are listening. Would want to hear something.
For now, it's only in Accra. And
Okay.
then, like I said, by the time we celebrate our 10th anniversary, we'll be opening the Kumasi showroom too.
Right. Do you allow test drives?
Yes, we do. Yes.
Impressive.
very impressive.
Now I'm going to come back to you after this short break. I want to find out who are your target market. How do you market this wonderful fleet of cars that you have? and why we didn't see this car at Buckingham Palace some 2 years ago when the opportunity came knocking on your door. So, listeners, this is where we stop and talk about the Beginners Auto Workshop. Now, today's edition of Beginners Auto Workshop, we're going to talk about your warning lights. Your warning lights are not disco lights. But let me try and make it very simple. So you see how your body is able to tell you certain things. Like when you get hiccups, you know that, oh, okay, I'm thirsty. So that is why. When you yawn a lot, it's either you're hungry or you're sleepy, you're tired. It's the same way every vehicle finds interesting ways to let you know that, hey, it is time for you to check me out. There's something wrong going on that you need to quickly check. So I'm going to run through the warning lights with you. Mostly you see either they are green, yellow, or red. But where do you see these warning lights? They are on your instrument panel. Remember, we said we don't call it dashboard. So the instrument panel, or also called the instrument cluster. So these warning lights could be green, it could be yellow, or it could be red. Well, we already know red means stop, right? So when you turn on your ignition, all these lights, all these warning lights should come on. This is your ECU booting. You know, when you turn on your phone, you see a lot of things going on. Yes, this is just to let you know that your car is putting itself in order for it to start running. So all the lights would come on. But if after the car is running, the engine is running and it's still on, then there's something wrong, right? So if it's green means it's just informing you that, hey, I'm working. It could be green or blue. It says I'm working. So i.e., when you turn on your headlamps, it's green. When you turn on your hazard, it's green, right? When you turn on your high beams, blue or green, depending on what car you're driving. So that tells you, okay, it's working. So that for green, you're fine. Now, when it's yellow means you have to park at a safe spot. It doesn't mean you should drive from Kumasi to Tamale and say, Shikanic says, I have to wait till it's a safe spot before I park. No. You have to park. Safe spot here means when you know you'll not cause an accident if you stop. Okay, so find a safe place and park and attend to it. Sometimes it could be that you haven't closed your bonnet. Now with the newer cars, and I'm sure Kantanka has these functions too, when you haven't closed your bonnet, the car won't even move. But if you drive an old car, a 2009 model Honda like I do, the car will still move though, but then your bonnet is open, which is risky. So you see these lights. The most common lights I've seen on a lot of people's cars in Ghana is either the brakes, the check engine lights, the battery, or the airbag. I left something out. The oil levels. It's something that is very common. So next week we'll delve deeper into it. So I mentioned yellow means you should park at a safe space. But when it's red, Shikadek, what does red mean? Red means stop. Immediately stop the car and have it checked, because it is dangerous to keep driving it. The car probably has gone into limp mode. Some of the things that would be red would be your battery, your charging system. If your alternator is not working, your charging system, and then your handbrake. Sometimes you've forgotten to disengage your handbrake and you're still driving. Some cars, it will beep while the light is on, but some cars, it wouldn't beep. Or if you're like most people who would buy an out-of-warranty vehicle, what these mechanics do is they put a black tape where your instrument cluster is, so you don't even see any light at all. This is one of the reasons why you should move away from buying used cars and buy the newly assembled ones. I know the people in the grey markets will kill me for saying this, but it is true. You have to make sure that you have cars, at least let it be not more than 5 years. If you need to buy a car from the grey markets, not more than 5 years, because that's what the manufacturer recommends anyway, and you know that you can easily get the parts. So that is it for your beginners auto workshop. Green means it's just information, it's informing you that it's in use. Yellow means find a safe spot to park, and red means check immediately. Next week we'll have a full segment to talk more about these lights, but what I want you to remember is these lights come on for a reason. Don't take it for granted. I once lost a friend to just having hiccups. So he had hiccups for 3 days. On the third day he went to the hospital and he passed. So the same way our body tells us the things that are going on with us, so does the vehicle. If you notice, I give a lot of examples using our body parts because I know that is how people can relate. So that is it for the beginner auto workshop segments. Let's move back to the studio. Okay, so right before we went into that segment, we were talking to Francis from Kantanka Automobile. If you've been following the conversation, thank you very much for staying with us. We are on Facebook, and then we are nationwide as well, across all our 4 partner stations and sister stations. Francis, so who are the people that actually buy Kantanka vehicles?
And especially those diasporians.
Right.
Yes, they form a larger part of our clientele. And then some institutions too, like VRA, GRIDCO, NIA, Forestry Commission, Office of the President, State Protocol.
So it doesn't matter which government is in power?
No, not at all.
That is very encouraging. But you know, from what you said, you're giving me the Rolls Royce vibes. Look, they don't advertise.
Yes, that's
so
Kantanka is the Rolls Royce of Ghana, you know.
I don't doubt you. I don't doubt you at all. For 280,000, yes, this is like entry level Rolls Royce. Yes, I don't doubt you at all. But so what you're saying is you don't need to advertise. Your product speaks for itself.
We do advertisement, but on a very low key.
You don't realize you're competing with others?
You know, yeah. But then, like I said, the little advert that we do, we have a problem of supply. Yes, so we are keeping it low until we get there.
Okay, MFA, I'm sure before today, you've had experience of buying vehicles. Buying vehicles.
Right.
What has been your reason for choosing the vehicle that you bought?
Reliability. I wanted a car that is going to be reliable and also good on our roads, because we don't drive on perfect roads here. So I think that, and there's so much distractions going on. If it's not a motor rider, then it's somebody crossing the road. There's so many things going on. So I wanted a car that if I'm to have an issue, it's not going to be hard to find the parts for it. But I don't know. He's swaying me with the Kantanka. So I have a question for you, sir. So why don't you partner with like some of the garages, like Brother Man here and things like that, to also, you know, push the car for you? Or maybe if you have a car that you feel like is going to be doing so well, why don't you also partner with them, well trusted ones, and then have them come and do like an exclusive thing where they can also push your cars for you a little bit? I think it will also help.
Yeah, it's something
it's
that,
free marketing.
It's something that we are considering, and I wish to inform the general public that we've started. We have MOUs with some of the garages.
So this is exclusive to Vroom. Yay,
Yes,
thank you so much. So
then,
what must they show to be part of this?
The strength of, you know, you mean the garages, right?
Yes.
They have to show their strength in marketing these vehicles.
Right.
No, now that the
See
vehicles
what
have
the man is
become
thinking. He's thinking.
now that sales is booming,
Right.
we are having the issue of used Kantanka vehicles.
Oh,
A client may
nice.
come, he would like
To
to
swap.
swap. So that is why we've started with that kind of MOU with some garages, and we'll be extending to others throughout the country very soon.
How much would a swapped Mensa be?
Swap Mensa will be about 30% of the original price.
Like 230-ish, 240,000. Not
30%
bad.
of the original price. And you get it for like 4 or 5 years.
Sorry, what do you mean you get it for?
4 or 5 years old Mensa being swapped for a new.
Oh, okay. The oldest would be 4 or
Yes.
5 years, which is also
It's
good. I
not
mean,
bad,
because
it's not
if I still have the parts, Abna, I want to come back to you.
Okay.
What has been the most asked for parts? Because what people ask for a lot would tell us if this car is efficient,
Okay.
if it's good for the buyer. So case in point, when you get a car that's, let's say, is affordable, 280, like, oh, this guy got a good deal, it was cheap. But it comes with a lot of hidden costs
True.
that people don't really consider. So what has been that most asked for parts?
Okay, so when it comes to the parts in high demand, mostly it is the Honda parts or the Honda vehicles, and then the Toyota vehicles.
Yeah.
Yes, they are high in demand.
No, aside the brake parts,
Aside the what?
aside brake parts, the consumables, aside that,
Mhm.
would you still, did they ask a lot of parts for Honda? Give an example of the parts that they asked for, please.
So let's say the headlights or the tail lights.
Because people don't drive well.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly.
What about mirrors?
Mirrors too.
They get stolen no matter what.
It gets stolen a lot. A lot.
Right.
So for the Honda cars, they are high in demand. Their parts are so high in demand.
Is that why they are so expensive?
the
I
parts
should
are
think so.
expensive?
Yeah, the parts are also expensive. The
Right.
parts are very expensive, and then they are easy to be seen, or it is easy to get. It's not something that you would have to search the whole market to find. Do you understand? When it comes to the Honda parts and then the Toyota parts, they are everywhere. Everyone sells it. Do
You know, something funny just came to mind. So doesn't mean you should start putting cages around our lights and our mirrors to keep them secure.
There is a
There's something
security.
like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
cage around.
It's called the
It's a
guard.
plastic. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
mirror
it's a
guard.
guard. Yeah.
Oh, I think I saw somebody too. They write their license number on the
True.
plate.
But even that
I
one, to
wouldn't
what
want that.
extent? Because it still gets stolen
So
one
there's
way
a
or the other.
guard?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
a
there's a
guard.
guard. There's a guard for the mirrors. Usually for the Civics, the CRVs, the Accords. Because they're in high demand, people tend to steal other people's mirrors. So that
Wow.
yes.
There is a technology, micro dotting.
Is it with Kantanka?
No, it's not Kantanka. It's not Ghana here. There's
Okay.
Ghana Sales Authority, in conjunction with the automobile assemblers, are trying to, make it compulsory.
Right.
But the Ghanaian consumer, they may think maybe we are trying to extract money from them. What that technology means is that if a sort of a technology that like we are talking about the driving mirror, for
Right.
instance, being stolen. So if you micro dot the driving mirror, no one will see it. No one,
Okay.
unless you use a device to detect that this is mine. So if it is being stolen and it's at Abusoka, and you can realize that this is mine, you will call for microdotting examination on it, and then
I'm
the
not
end of
sure
the
how
day-
feasible this is. I'm not sure. I mean,
It sounds like a lot.
it will look good on
Yes.
paper, but reality, I'm not
that is
sure
what
about
that is what we are considering.
Um,
In reality, we may think it is something that is not that cannot be done. It will be too tedious for us to go through that. But then-
You know what? You get this kind of discussion in the boardrooms when it's a board of professors. If we get someone like Abna, who is on the ground, to be part of this committee to discuss it. I'm sure Abna will tell you that this routine and verification, it will not work. So please, government of Ghana authorities, if I listen to us, can you please try not to just put professors together in a committee, because it doesn't work at all. Take it from me, it doesn't work at all. What I've also noticed is people tend to pin their rivets, they call it rivets, they tend to pin the badges, they pin the side mirrors because
you can't spin the mirror, it will break.
No, I mean the whole cap, the whole assembly, not the mirror itself.
So the plastic.
Yes, the entire assembly.
Oh, they tend to steal it regardless.
Oh, so it's just the mirror glass that
it's just the glass. They don't want the whole mirror, just the glass.
Just the glass.
Just the glass.
Right. This is new.
Yes.
So what else is rampant? What do people ask for in a Bosokai?
So with me, I sell the body parts, like the bumpers, headlights, tail lights, and the bonnet.
Okay.
So for my side, as I said earlier, the ones in demand are the Honda, the Civic, Accord, the HRV, and the CRV, and the Toyotas. So with that one, to the Corolla, and then the RAV4s, yeah, they are so high in demand.
People ask for the bumpers and the lights. I think it just shows that people don't drive well. I mean,
No,
Ghanaians generally
you
don't
can't
drive
actually
well.
blame the driver. I think it is also from our route. Yes, as a result of our bad routes as well. Do you understand? Exactly.
I also want to clear a misconception.
Go ahead.
Look, if you're looking to get a used car, right? I mean, your budget will tell. If for the Corolla like this, if you want something like the 2018 you mentioned, if you want an accident one, yes, you can get it between that $10,000 or $8,000. You understand? But if you want a certified pre-owned, no accidents, you want to look around 12,000, 15,000. You get it, yes, and which will still be cheaper than buying a showroom or a car with a warranty. You understand?
So this is dollars, $15,000.
Yes, $15,000. I
Right,
mean,
okay.
yes, it was still going to be cheaper.
From your garage?
From my garage, yes.
Right.
Yes, and
Okay.
we also, like I mentioned, we also ship cars for people. So if we are financing, if you are pre-financing it, it tends to be a little lower than we bringing it ourselves to come resell.
That makes sense. So when you mention certified used, who is certifying it in Ghana?
Not in Ghana. So
Right.
if it's a certified pre-owned car, they are certified in the States. I mean, usually that's where we buy the cars from.
Okay.
Yes, they are certified in the dealerships. They have the records and everything there to show you. Yes.
But Mr. Man, it's we have to be practical here. We are in Ghana. Honesty is kind of we tanked it because I think as a buyer, I run a situation whereby my trust level is very low because as she's saying, the person that showed the car, they were saying that no accidents or whatever it may be, but then it might be a flat car. So as somebody, let's say I don't know nothing about cars and I walk into your garage, how am I certain that you are going to be honest with me that the car that you are selling me is not going to, like, as soon as I drive out, it's not going to stop, it's not going to overheat, it's not going to come up with all these issues and things like that? My thing is honesty and transparency. You know, with Kantanka, at least I can go there and go and tell them that, hey, please, my car, there's warranty. But, you know, for the third party or like a garage like this, you don't really sign anything. So
as part of a buying process, you want to have a mechanic physically examine a car for you.
Your mechanic, or should I bring my mechanic?
Oh no, your own mechanic. You should bring your own mechanic because he or she will be a neutral person.
Okay.
You understand? So bring your mechanic, let the person assess it for you, make sure everything checks out before you make the payments. There are also instances where you can run a VIN online. Yes, it will give you the full detail of the car.
Check the Carfax and
And all of that. You understand? Those details are readily available online. You understand? So as a buyer, if you don't trust what the garage is saying, I think you should also do your own checks to be certain you're buying a good car. You understand? Yes.
I'm sorry, Brother Man, how do you check to know that the car that you are selling is not stolen? Because we mentioned car parts that are stolen. There could be a whole vehicle that is stolen and brought it to Ghana, and unfortunately will land in your garage. How are you able to check that?
So, like you mentioned, Carfax will give you a full report. Or if you're not comfortable right now, if you are buying a car, or if a bank is buying a car for an individual, as part of the buying process, you need to provide an Interpol report. It's an Interpol report will clear out that this car has been stolen or not. You understand? So anyone at all buying a car, if you are certain you don't want a stolen car, you should get one of the Carfax reports and an Interpol report as well.
How long have you been doing this? Because you sound like you've been in the game for a long time. How long have you been doing this?
Since 2019, so quite some time.
It is quite some time. 6 years.
6 years.
I want
7
to
years.
be a bit controversial. Recently, I saw that Interpol wasn't down, and they got all these cars. But he's saying that they run it. So
not everybody is
because because I'll say I want an accident-free car. I don't want the stress. Right now, Kantanka is winning. Right now, I want a stress-free. Like, I don't want the stress whereby I need to be following up and doing all these things. I want an accident-free car, right? I've heard that they are changing VIN numbers on cars. So right now, me too, I'm driving, minding my business. Then they're coming to say, madam, please give me your car and your car keys. Let's say, I don't know you, but let's say that's the case. If I come to you, I'm like, sir, please, you sold me a stolen car. So right now, what are we going to do about it? Like, let's be practical here.
So being practical, like I'm saying, as part of the buying process, you need to be certain of what you're buying. So also do your checks. There's nothing like I didn't know the car was this. It was in this state before buying a car. You understand?
So is it possible those people knew the cars were stolen? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's no one coming to buy a car now who wouldn't do a thorough check on the car. You understand? Usually, what I've heard is that the stolen ones are cheaper than the clean ones, quote in quotes.
I mean, I would probably even go for a stolen one because your prices are so high.
Yes.
If you notice, they almost want to sell it to you at 200% profit. So your prices are so high. So if I can get an alternative, it's like me going to the market and it'll tell me, fresh, hard, ripe tomatoes versus the ones that are a bit soft. Which one? I would go for the soft one if I run a chopper. Do you understand?
Yeah, I get you.
So it is, I think it's the pricing. And if we can get the government to have some kind of price control.
I think so too.
That is another thing. We don't have price control in this country. So anybody can just put some figures together and then that's what you're selling.
So, I mean, let me not ask you.
Yeah.
If you're buying a car, I mean, obviously you would have done your checks where the car came from, and right now all those details are available online. You can check how much the person paid for the car. You can check how much the person paid on duty. You understand? So it's going to be strange for you to buy a car that's way over the price. You understand? I think every buyer should be able to do these checks. You get, if you are not familiar with the process, let's ask and let them give you a breakdown. You understand? I believe I've answered.
Well, I have one more, last one. So it sounds to me that it's best for you to buy your own car. Well, like I would ask you to buy a car for me, and then when the car gets here, either I pay for the duty or we go from there. Because it sounds like by the time you buy the car, you pay for the duty, you put your own on it.
So I mean, let's see you've gone to the bank to take a loan for your business. You want to sell the car to at least make some amount of profit to also cover the loan. You understand? Just like we're saying, the interest rate on Ghana
is a killer.
Is a killer. You understand? Then there's another option where we can buy it from the states for you. They're going to pre-finance it. Then all we have to do is to charge you a service fee. You understand? I have people who who I do that
Who
for.
do the bidding for you, and then you pay them.
Yes, you can decide to buy an auction car or a dealership car, which is clean.
Certified.
Yes, it's certified.
Now we're going to move on to our final segments. Then now you know that when we come back, I'll take your last words, your closing remarks. So it's a now you know segment where we bust some myths, we correct certain things on the market. So the next segment, now you know, we'll be right back. So ladies, I'm talking to ladies. I'm pretending most of my listeners are women, even though we have the statistics to show that lots of men listen to us. Thank you very much, brothers. Now, ladies, your engine oil, when you buy your engine oil and you see the number, the letter, and 2 numbers. Now you're wondering, what does the letter W mean? Well, W doesn't mean wallabies. I think I just showed you guys my age. It doesn't mean wallabies. W doesn't mean weights. W means winter. So a group of engineers, they're called the Society Automotive Engineers, came together and said, you know what, let us organize our house. Let us put things in good structure. So you see SAE 5W20, no, 5W30, 5W40, or 0W20. And some heavy trucks, you see 15W40. What does this all mean? We know W means winter, right? So winter is to say when it's cold. Now the first number before the W, it could be 0, it could be 5. What this means is the lower the number, the less viscosity. So let me explain viscosity. Imagine you're pouring out a jar of water versus you're pouring out honey. Honey is more viscous. It's thick. Give an example. You put Shikanik in a track race. You put Hussein Bolt in the track race. Who's gonna go first? Definitely, I am the honey. Hussein Bolt is the water. So the lower the number, the faster it goes. So this is why when the cold starts, when you start your car, you want the lubricants, the oil, to be able to grease all the parts in the engine fast, right? Not just go slow. So the lower the number. So in Ghana, 0W20 seems to be doing very well because it gets very hot. So we need oil that will work fast. If, unfortunately, now that we are talking about use and out of warranty cars, even though the manufacturer says, oh, use 0W20 or 5W30 fully synthetic, some of the engines that you are getting is as old as Methuselah. So it needs oil that will be able to lubricate it well. If the oil is too thin, i.e. is running too fast, it might run and leave its wake behind. So sometimes, even though the manufacturer say, hey, use this, you have to know, how long have I been driving this car? Am I the 100th owner? And then adjust. So go on Google and check what is the right oil to use. So now you know the W doesn't mean weight, it means winter. So the number first is in the cold starts, when it's cold. And then the number after the 2 digits, it could be 30, 40, 20, means when it's hot. When it is hot, how fast the engine gets lubricated, how fast the oil moves, right? So now you know, it doesn't matter the brand of engine oil, look out for the grade. The same way it doesn't matter the brand of toothpaste, make sure it has fluoride. So that same principle, you can bring that same principle to the engine oil, right? So 5W20, you know what it means. 0W20, you know what it means. So the next time you go to your favorite mechanic, please tell them you want a fully synthetic oil. Why must it be fully synthetic? Because it lasts longer. It's able to keep your engine parts running for longer. So do not go for the blended oils. go for fully synthetic oil. So now you know what this means. Let's come back to the studio and then get our final remarks. Now back to Mr. Francis. 2 years ago, Ghana was all over the news. A group of people drove from Ghana to the UK and they took their own vehicles. The story is, or is alleged, that they came to you, Kantanka, to have the opportunity to drive your car and have your car. I don't know if you've seen that photo. One of the cars in front of Buckingham Palace. That is so iconic. That could have been or Mama or one of your Obrimpon. That could have been a Kantanka. So why didn't you take that opportunity? Is it that you, as you said, you cannot even meet production, you can't even meet demand? Or what exactly was your reason for not taking up that?
News was I was in China then when I heard the news, but I was contacted, proud to live in, and by that time they were already in Nigeria or wherever. In fact, one of the guys in the group was my junior at St. Peter's.
Oh,
yes.
Nice.
And how couldn't we do that if we had sat down and then planned it very well? So it was like they've gotten there and people took the news. I don't know how they managed to, hear that we were contacted and we said we are not ready or whatever.
So what's the story from you? We want to know from the horse's mouth. What is exactly the story?
No, it was like, the whole story was like, we were contacted, actually. I was contacted. I have been called. And, the guy who called me was someone who came to our plant, I think about 7 years ago or so. He was from France. And then he said he was planning that trip from Accra to South Africa. And then it couldn't work out that time. So now when they planned this London trip and then he called, it was already too late. And we have a lot of things to do on the car before it moves. You know where we are going to pass through. We're going to drive through these Francophone countries. You know how rough they are. And even when the car gets to Europe, there are, certificates of conformity, etc., that we have to go through, all those things. In fact, we exported a car to Norway, and when it got to Norway, the Norwegian customs demanded for the certificate of conformity. And in Ghana, when have you heard, since creation, that a car assembled in Ghana has been exported outside of Ghana through continental Europe to Norway? We are the first to do that.
Maybe just like you, they don't market it. They don't
yes,
talk about it.
And where are we going to? The Ghana Standards Authority had never even done any certificate of conformity in relation to a car which has been sold in Ghana and exported to Europe. So we have to come up with a team.
Structures. You have to go through the process.
And then we worked hand in hand with Standards Authority, and they prepared the certificate. They came, they did all checks on the car.
But Francis, they had a second edition where they did 30,000 kilometers. That could have been another chance for you. What do you think?
Oh, come on. We were not on that. They start these things, and when it ends, then before they contact us, and then start to be making stories of their success. If they had failed, would they have? No, so sometimes we have to brush some of these things.
Thank God they didn't fail, right? Abna, so your last words. Let us know your experience. You as the incoming market queen. Yes, if I'm to campaign for anybody in Abosokan, I would campaign for Francisca to be the Abosokan market queen, because it's just different and it's daring. Your story is one for the books. It tells us that as a woman, as a lady, young woman, you can do anything. True. And your gender shouldn't stop you. So please share your last words with us before we close.
All right. So what I would want to say to your cherished listeners is that, so from all that we have said, what they would have to do is that they are supposed to do their due diligence so that they don't spend their hard-earned money on any other car, but then a reliable and then an affordable one as well. Do you understand?
That's great. But
Yeah.
I remember you mentioned that you have the add-ons. So that doesn't mean if I buy a 2018 Corolla, I can soup it up to a 2025 model. Is that possible with
no,
you?
it's not possible.
So,
if you have-
what's the most possible I can get?
So if you have a Corolla 2014, you can upgrade it to the 2017 model.
Okay,
It's
so
possible.
14.
Yes, 14 to
Okay.
17 is possible, but 14 to 25, no. It's not
Listen, do you realize how she quickly corrected me there? That tells you she has a lot of experience. So yes, Abby is our Bosokan queen. MFA, your last words.
I think this has been very informative from every side. I think there are more options now. From what Mr. Francis said, we can come in, they have financing options, and you can also test drive the car, which is a good option as well. And with what Brother Man also said, I can go through him and get the car shipped here to Ghana as well. And right now I have my lady here, so all my auto needs, she will be hearing from me very
That's
soon.
a
But
good connect.
yes, but I think it was a very good segment. I think I've gotten all the information needed. So I want to ask Mr. Francis. Sorry, I'm going
That's
to.
fine.
Let's say I bring my Corolla and I want to try one of your cars and I want to swap it. Is it possible?
Not possible.
It
But
has
why?
to be a Kantanka.
And then like
It has to
you're
be.
swapping Banku with
Hey.
So Brother Man, what's your final words to share with us?
So, I mean, just like Francisca said, you need to do your due diligence before buying a car. And one of the reasons why our cars are preferred is that they usually have a good resale value. Yeah, so you know that you buy this car for 280,000. Next few years, you can sell it, if not more than that, maybe around that same amount. Yeah, so that's why people generally move towards what's the name? Used cars.
Used cars.
Yes.
And Francis, what are your last words?
Oh, I'm very, very happy to be on this program. And
Thank you.
like I said from the beginning, we at Kantanka, we've learned a lot from our mistakes, and then we are improving on our strengths. So we are good to go. We are open to the
That's
Ghanaian
good.
market.
I'm glad. But did you guys learn anything from any of the segments, the Beginners Auto Workshop and the Now You Know? Did you learn anything?
Yeah, especially with the lights.
The lights, the warning lights. Yes.
Yeah,
that's
especially
good.
with the
Francis,
lights.
Very familiar with them, and they are very problematic.
Yes.
It
yes,
can slow down the car
Yeah.
when you have that kind of spanner sign on it. That's the
Yes,
end of the car.
it's
You
time
can-
for service. Now, next week on Vroom, have you realized that in Ghana, after 6 p.m., suddenly all the trotros, all the cars that will take us from our workplaces to the house just disappears, and there seems to be lack of everything, i.e. the ride-hailing apps, the prices all just jack up. GPRTU, when the fuel prices have reduced, they still keep to their old prices, and nobody seems to be talking about it. That's what we're going to be talking about next week. Why do we have to fight for vehicles after dark? What is it after dark that we have to fight for our vehicles? So this and more coming to you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Shikanik, your host, and I am grateful. Have a good evening.
Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Asasi. Is the sound of Asasi.